Hi, it's Lisa, and I like plants, and I've got 5 native gardening trends to save you money in 2024. It's no secret that things are getting more expensive, but your garden doesn't have to be one of them. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 native gardening trends that will actually save you money in the garden this year. Let's get it. I've seen some yikes prices at the garden center this year. I mean, it's understandable. If you have an outdoor showroom, the plants need to be taken care of and watered. It's very expensive for a nursery. They have a lot of fees and stuff, and that can add up. One of the things we can do about it on our end is to buy plugs instead of gallons. Jeez, everybody's out here today. What the hell? If you buy from a garden center that carries native plants or a native plant nursery online, you can usually get small plants or plugs. Depending on what species it is, they grow really fast, and you really don't have to buy gallons. Here's some of my favorite species that are great to grow from plugs because they grow really fast. Echinacea, swamp milkweed, Joe Pye weed, ironweed, goldenrod, these are all great plants that will grow awesome from plugs, and you might even get blooms in the first year. Sometimes our impatience can actually end up costing us quite a bit. Not even a little bit, maybe a lot bit. For example, if I want to buy a large tree, they're grown out in the field for several years and then dug up for planting, and this removes a lot of their roots. And then they're so heavy, it takes a lot of labor to move them from the field, then to the nursery, move it from the nursery to your house, and install it in your yard. This takes a lot of labor. It can be really expensive. In my area, it can easily be $600 to get a large tree installed in your home. It just takes a lot of work to move the tree around. Sometimes it takes 3 guys. That's why in 2024, you're going to see a lot more people buying smaller trees, planting them at home with their family for cheap. First of all, they're cheaper. Did I say that they're cheaper? My personal experience, it's probably between $50 and $100 to get a small tree. Or if you're able to find like a local native plant sale, you can usually find them for quite a bit cheaper. Big discounts. Planting your own trees at home is a really cool experience. You build memories with your family. The kids can help out. This is just not possible with a large tree install. I always want to empower people to try to take on small projects themselves at home. People don't realize there's a lot of satisfaction in planting a tree yourself. If you planted one, now you know how to plant another one. The confidence will stay with you and your family forever. They do develop better root systems when planted small. That's because they don't have their roots cut. Another thing to consider is that no matter what you do when you're planting trees, some of the trees just aren't going to make it. There's a percentage of the trees that will just die after the first year. That's just life. At least this way you didn't spend $600 on a tree. I'm okay planting a small tree with my family and watching it grow every year. Before the next tip, if you enjoy learning about native gardening, hit the subscribe button to let YouTube know that you're interested in these things. It helps spread the word about native plants. Back to the list. In 2023, we had a huge drought here in the Midwest, and we're fully into an El Nino event right now. That means that we're probably not going to get as much rain as we usually get. It's likely to be another dry year ahead. So a lot of gardeners are getting wise to the need for drought-resistant plants. I've got a list of drought-resistant native plants for sun, so you're not out there in the heat with the hose every single day trying to water them. You do still have to water plants for a couple of months when they are young and just getting started, but after a few months, you're really not going to have to water these babies again. When we're watering a lot, not only does it increase our water bill, but there's all those things associated with watering that we really don't think about, like all the hoses, sprinklers, nozzles, and watering wands. These things kind of break easily. They really don't last the way that they used to, so let's use them as little as possible and make them last. For me, watering from the hose, that's for the veggie garden and containers. I don't want to be watering my native plants ever. Let's just leave it there. The other reason to plant drought-resistant plants is that they're really just more likely to survive. There's nothing worse than buying a plant that you love, watching it struggle during the summer, and then next spring you look for it to come up and it doesn't come back. Getting native drought-resistant plants usually means the plants are a little bit tougher. They can tolerate the occasional heat wave and drought. Here's some of my favorites. Asclepias tuberosa, asters, Penstemon digitalis, Spirobolus heterolepis, nodding wild onion, lead plant, pale purple coneflower, Dalea purpurea. What is Dalea? That's a purple prairie clover. Okay, native gardeners like to plant their plants close together to keep out weeds. This means we need more plants than the conventional gardener. To save money, we're looking for plants that keep on giving. So we're gonna plant plants that spread, plants that seed. We're gonna plant spreading plants. Plants can spread by seed or rhizome. If you keep an eye on their spread, you can quadruple your plants next year. Scarlet bee balm is great for this, swamp milkweed, any of the asters, slender mountain mint, black-eyed Susans, Virginia bluebells. These plants will keep on making new plants every year, and that's a smart way to fill out the garden on a budget. Okay, sometimes we have to learn to give up on something that's not working. Now, I think everyone has had this problem, and we need to talk about what people are doing about it. People are giving up on growing grass in places it does not want to grow. Everyone has a spot like this. Every year, you buy grass, you water it, you've got that patchy stuff, you can buy expensive grass seed. For whatever reason, grass hates it there. It does not want to grow there. And we're gonna stop doing that. Some of us are giving up on all that work, and we just plant a flat of sedges, and that's it. Here's what a flat of sedges looks like. It's just these little plugs, and you just plug them in and they fill in the space and you're done. It loves shade. You can get some for dry areas or wet areas. Sedges are just an awesome plant. They're very low to the ground. They look like grass. Yeah, we're just gonna stop buying grass seed and throwing it in that muddy pile, and we're gonna plant sedges instead. Call it a day. The point is that these shady areas are areas that grass doesn't like to grow, like underneath trees or on the north side of the house. Those places are perfect for sedges. They love growing there, they thrive there. Sure, maybe you have to buy the sedges up front, but then you're kind of done forever. I think people are really waking up to what's working and what's not. We're done working against nature and spending all of our time trying to control it. We're looking for solutions that help us grow with nature. I mean, look at how awesome these sedges look. They're very green, very easy to manage. You cut them back in the spring, you can cut them again in the summer if you feel like it, or you can just leave them. And I've got a bonus tip for you. If you're really serious about growing your garden on a budget and getting tons of plants for cheap, you're gonna wanna learn to grow from seed. You can grow thousands of plants from seed. If you learn about the plant, you learn about how it likes to grow, you can get thousands of plants just by winter sowing, and it's super easy. A packet of native seeds is not expensive. It's mostly just the cost of the potting mix. Or if you want, you can directly sow into the ground for free. This is something I know you can do. And when you see how many plants you grew from seed, you're gonna feel so empowered. I hope you're inspired by this list. You should know that creating a beautiful garden for yourself and for wildlife doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg. It can take time and patience, but before you know it, you're going to be the one giving away seeds, giving away plants to your neighbors so they can start their own gardens. If you want to get inspired, check out the results from last year's winter sowing project.